The hare was very fast. He loved to run. He would often be seen darting through the fields, leaving a trail of dust behind him. He often boasted about his speed. "No one can outrun me," he would say with a smirk, his chest puffed out in pride. The tortoise was slow and steady. He moved with a calm and deliberate pace, never in a hurry. He moved at his own pace, enjoying the journey rather than rushing to the destination. One day, the hare saw the tortoise walking by. He couldn't resist the opportunity to make fun of him. "Oh, tortoise, you are so slow!" The hare laughed, his voice echoing through the forest. "I could run circles around you!" The tortoise smiled, unfazed by the hare's taunts. He was not bothered by the hare's words. He knew that actions spoke louder than words. Instead, he challenged the hare to a race. The hare was shocked, unable to believe what he was hearing. He had never lost a race. He laughed even harder, thinking the tortoise was joking. "You want to race me? You must be joking," he exclaimed, still chuckling. The hare thought the tortoise was being silly. He shrugged off the challenge, confident in his own abilities. But the tortoise was serious. His eyes showed determination and resolve. He knew that slow and steady progress could lead to success. He believed in his own method. The other animals heard about the race. Word spread quickly through the forest. They were excited to see who would win. The anticipation grew as the day of the race approached. They all gathered to watch the exciting event. The forest buzzed with excitement and curiosity. The race was set. The forest was buzzing with excitement as all the animals gathered to witness the great race between the hare and the tortoise. The path was marked, and the starting line was drawn. The fox would be the judge. He was known for his fairness and keen eyes. He stood at the finish line, ready to oversee the race. "Ready?" yelled the fox. "Set, go!" And with that, the race began. The hare zoomed off like a rocket. He was so fast. The tortoise, on the other hand, started slowly. He kept his pace steady and unwavering. He wasn't worried about the hare. He knew that slow and steady wins the race. The other animals cheered for the tortoise. They admired his determination and spirit. "Go, tortoise, go!" they shouted, their voices echoing through the forest. But the hare was already far ahead. The hare looked back, confident in his lead. He couldn't even see the tortoise. "He is so slow," the hare thought. He smirked, feeling overly confident. "This race is too easy," he exclaimed to himself. The hare continued to run, but he was no longer in a hurry. He felt relaxed and began to enjoy the race. The hare decided to take a nap. He found a shady spot under a tree. He settled down comfortably, thinking he had plenty of time. "I have plenty of time," he yawned, stretching his legs. "I'll wake up and still win the race," he thought, closing his eyes. The hare closed his eyes and fell fast asleep, confident in his victory. The tortoise kept going. He never stopped. He was slow, but he was steady. He passed the sleeping hare, but the hare didn't see him. He was sound asleep. The sun moved higher in the sky. The tortoise was getting closer to the finish line. The other animals cheered louder. "You can do it, tortoise!" they yelled. The hare finally woke up. He yawned and stretched. He looked around. Where is everyone? He wondered. Then he saw the finish line. And he saw the tortoise. The tortoise was just a few feet away from winning. The hare couldn't believe his eyes. The hare jumped up and ran as fast as he could. He was confident, almost arrogant in his speed and agility. He dashed through the fields, leaving a cloud of dust behind him, certain that victory was his. But it was too late. The hare had underestimated the tortoise's determination and persistence. He had taken a nap, thinking he had plenty of time to win the race. The tortoise crossed the finish line. His slow and steady pace had paid off. He had kept moving forward, never stopping, never doubting himself. The crowd erupted in cheers. They couldn't believe their eyes. The underdog had won, proving that perseverance and consistency can triumph over speed and arrogance. They lifted the tortoise onto their shoulders. He had done it. The hare was shocked. He had been so sure of his victory that he hadn't even considered the possibility of losing. He had lost the race. The hare sat down, exhausted and defeated, realizing that his overconfidence had been his downfall. He couldn't believe he had been beaten by the slow tortoise. The tortoise smiled, knowing that his steady effort had led him to victory. He had proved that slow and steady wins the race. His methodical approach had triumphed over the hare's hasty and careless sprint. The hare learned a valuable lesson that day. He realized that speed alone isn't enough. One must also have perseverance and a good strategy. He learned that being overconfident can lead to failure. He understood that underestimating others can be a grave mistake. He also learned that persistence and determination are important keys to success. From that day on, he trained harder, focusing on his weaknesses and improving his strengths. From that day on, the hare never underestimated anyone again. He respected the abilities of others and learned to appreciate their unique strengths. He learned to race his best, and more importantly, he learned to respect the abilities of others. The hare and the tortoise became friends, each respecting the other's strengths and learning from their weaknesses.